Relationships now are different from those of decades past. There was a distinctive dynamic at work between the sexes due to the disparity in values and goals held by each. Because of the pandemic, I seriously doubt that conventional dating as we once know it will ever recover as a viable option for the vast majority of people.
Do you still want to date women?
When it came to finding love and friendship in the past, men and women frequently spent time and money at public venues. They'd use the standard approach of hooking up, in which the guy pays for everything and gives his complete attention to the girl. If a woman wants to feel appreciated, she'd rather have expensive gifts and dates than have to pacify a man.
I want the presents.
But the dating paradigm is crumbling, and a new one will emerge in light of online social connections and the situation of the global economy. You can take my word for it. Due to rising inflation, people are increasingly worried about meeting their monthly basic demands, such as electricity, rent, gas, phone, and internet expenses, and engaging in recreational activities like dating. Our decisions on where to travel can be heavily influenced by these what-if scenarios.
I'm not afraid of flying. I love to fly.
I want you to take a look at the youth of today and notice how commercialized they have become, especially in the wake of the global pandemic. Take a look at the Instagram photographs of women flaunting their beauty while having a good time on the boats of wealthy guys. It doesn't take much thought to realize that the young women seeking sugar daddy relationships on dating services just want more attention, status, and notoriety for themselves. They will advertise themselves publicly online in the hope of attracting affluent older men who can provide for them while they focus on their personal and social lives. Nowadays, women and men alike are open about trading their time and energy for money in these online communities and platforms. In light of the impending worldwide depression, these kinds of things are happening increasingly frequently in modern society. It's become common practice for women to publicly trade their time for money.
What's the money for this time?
Most of you would rather live in denial and pretend that things you disagree with don't exist than face the reality that most young women today engage in such things to earn extra money. If you have any doubts, you must look at these websites for sugar daddies only fans and Instagram to see the evidence for yourself. So feel free to enforce morality if you feel so inclined. You are not obligated to participate in this now, but this is the direction in which we are moving, and I am only here to report on it, not to urge anyone to act in a way they feel is wrong.
Wrong! This is wrong.
Think about the powerful players in the current dating industries. Not Generation X or baby boomers, but the younger generation, which has no trouble taking part in these activities for little to no money, is creating problems for itself. Remember that dating and body swapping are often interwoven. I just read an article that said dating was a new romance.
I want passion. I want fireworks!
We grew up in a culture where it was commonplace for people to engage in the form of courtship we now call dating, even though previous generations considered it inappropriate for males to take women out and amuse them. This makes me think that dating practices will evolve into something new in the future.
Monogamy isn't real.
Since ethical monogamy is a brand new, meaningless term that has recently been embraced in favor of polyamory, I will explain what it is for those who don't know. I think it will be related to morally acceptable monogamy online, with women selling their time. Given the current state of the dating market, they alter the meanings of items to better appeal to people's emotions, making polyamory sound more appealing than ethical non-monogamy, the practice of establishing partnerships that are not completely exclusive between two people. To illustrate our point, I discussed non-monogamous relationships that do not violate any ethical standards.
Because I want your money.
I'll use an example everyone can relate to making my point clear.
Now this is an example of how.
Let's pretend a young lady of Generation Z is living with a man her age, and the two of them are struggling to make ends meet every month. The couple is struggling to make ends meet, so the girl decides to sign up with a sugar daddy website in the hopes of finding a wealthy man who will pay for her to go on dates with him. Due to this likely becoming the future dating paradigm, things are looking up for older, accomplished males like us. In what we'll call ethical monogamy or open partnerships, young men will feel pressured to accept that their spouses will utilize them as a source of income and side hustling their time. Look at the women who already have lovers on OnlyFans if you need any more convincing. The partners of these smitten men don't mind if their ladies strut their stuff in front of thousands of male viewers. Since she is more financially successful, several of her co-workers feel compelled to emulate her and give TV appearances. On the other hand, if the content starts to get stale and the boyfriend is the only person there, the girl may bring in a fan or another OnlyFans star to spice things up and keep her subscribers pleased. Confess that our course is completely illogical direction, because the new dating paradigm is ethical non-monogamy and the government won't support women on their own out of respect for morals. The law will change to partially legalize pay-for-play relationships between men and women. As the going gets rough, many women will gladly sell their time. Despite how unkind that may seem, let's take a look at the state of the dating app industry right now to see why I'm right.
It's unkind. Discriminatory.
The notion of hypergamy and women choosing high-value guys up front is supported by the fact that the top 20 men on dating apps attract at least 80% of women's attention. Meanwhile, the lowest 80% of men have a hard time even getting a date with a single woman. When you open your eyes, you'll see that everything I've been telling you is true.
Open your eyes.
The likes of Andrew Tate and Dan Bilzerian come to mind. As they are both successful and wealthy men, I find it hard to believe that any of them would limit his romantic interests to just one lady. As far as I can tell, both men have a harem of ladies who are all in agreement that they should share their respective men.
Got a harem.
I'm aware that most of these girls get paid to be in public with these guys, but it seems like they don't mind, perhaps because they can make a decent living and maybe even become famous themselves. To add, I think the vast majority of men will find this to be helpful. A traditional date is a man approaching a woman and spending money on dinner and other frivolous activities, but if men were better off financially, they wouldn't have to.
How much will it cost to build?
An alternative is for any male to sign up for a sugar daddy website, fill out a profile, and wait for women to come to him. For this reason, the cost of getting the woman you desire could be anything from a few hundred to a few $1,000s. My point for today is that you should keep in mind the shifting nature of interpersonal relationships. It's plausible that moral standards have evolved during the previous 2 decades.
Social media?
In the past, it might not have been socially acceptable for men and women to be in exclusive unions while also having other romantic connections. This dynamic has been profoundly shifted, in part because of the contributions of social media and the pandemic that has worsened the state of the world economy.
Social media?
Because women may now openly sell their time for money on these platforms and they feel it's appropriate to do so, or because they have no other option, I advise being careful and skeptical while dating them. In this instance, you should accept the fact that your relationship will change forever. The exponential growth of MGTOW males shows that it is preferable to choose to preserve your integrity and take your route. Therefore, dating as we know it is no more. In the last few decades, the power dynamic between men and women has shifted dramatically, and it appears that more and more men are shying away from relationships with women who are spoilt for choice.